En Buenos Aires la ciudad brillará.
A
Congreso.
continuación, vamos a dar inicio a la primera sesión plenaria y debate que se realizará en idioma inglés. What digital content and media do students consume at the Faculty of Communication Sciences at the Inter-American Open University? Invitamos a quien va a ser el moderador, a quien va a ser el disertante del magíster Javier González Pagliere Llauro, profesor de la Universidad Abierta Interamericana, y lo acompaña el responsable de la Comisión de Educación de Interact Argentina, Fernando Omdam, que será el moderador. Al finalizar la exposición del magíster González Pagliere Llauro, va a haber un espacio para que el público pueda hacer preguntas. Le vamos a dar entonces la palabra a Fernando Omdam, el moderador.
Hi everyone, thanks for having us here. I'm really proud for representing Interact here in this Congress. And I'm really glad to join Javier in his presentation. As Diana said before, it's going to be, I guess, a really dynamic presentation. I'm going to interrupt Javier with questions, so don't hesitate if you want to do some questions after the presentation. We will have time for that. So, Javier, are you prepared?
No.
No at all.
Oh, well, what the hell?
It's every time. Okay. What a topic here. Students, digital media consumption, education. If you are parents over there, it's hard to deal with kids, with the screens, with devices and everything. Students, it's another challenge for teachers, professors, universities, education institution. So let's hear you. What you find out.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I appreciate you being here. It's an honor for the university to invite me to make this speech. And we are going to talk about some research that we do with Carla Tonella and Marcela Mosquera. We are part of the team. We try to understand the way the consumption of the students in University Abierta Interamericana, and probably we're going to see some data that we're going to confirm that we try to figure out that is the data confirms or not if the students start to check or not the social media or even the internet as part of a dictionary. So, I'm going to do this one. Let's see the first one. One of the main questions that we start to understand is what digital content of media the students consume at the faculty and university, because we need to try to find out is what kind of media they do consume, even if you are in the home or maybe not. But the thing is, the digital content start with the internet. So when the internet comes, well, they start to make it part of it. So we have TV, radio, newspapers, but when internet comes, they change everything. So that's why our general objective was to describe what kind of a behavior they use, or even they have a logic when they start to look for information in the internet. And also our padres with Marcela and Carla was to, if the student on the faculty, if our consumption in the digital content and media to their relationship with the digital media and impact in the education. That means that what is the importance to take the information in the internet instead of a book? It seems that sometimes the content is not only the main object, but also the information instead of education. Seems that when the students start to read, they don't check, you know. They believe that Wikipedia is the god, and then information on Google also have all the answers. And well, you know what? No. They don't have all the answers. So
And TikTok.
yeah, TikTok.
TikTok as a
For
source.
Oh, cried out loud, unbelievable. But yes, TikTok and Instagram seems that also the source they give you every even answers. Well, now with ChatGPT also they start to make this. So some data to take into account. It's the digital media has changed everything. You know, first of all because we have the information in our hands. just right away. First of all, because we know that we have this guy called presumer, and when I talked to Fernando about this, we start to make a little debate about it.
I guess you all know this word presumer as producer and consumer. Now we have this new term content creator. And I was talking with Javier, how big is this trend of general user creating content? And the proportions, of course, it's a trend thing. It's a nice thing to talk through the years about presumers, but proportions are not that big. How many of the users are real
That's right.
content creators in internet, and how these users, when they say they are creating content, they are like reproducing other contents, regardless the source, the good information, fake news. What do you think about that, Javier?
That's correct, because when we start to think that every single digital native works and produce information, they don't. Even they have between 17 and 20, not every single kid in the school or every single student in the university are presumers. They don't produce. Like you say before, they reproduce the information. They might have some opinions about it, and they hashtag something, and we'll see how it works. They send to the own groups that have a problem in WhatsApp, you know? So we do understand that when they start to make this kind of information, we have this device that seems that the cell phones is the primary device to use from this people from the kids from probably 17 and 25, and even though they use a computer, mobile device is the primary device to check everything, to look for information every single time, and any hour, any place, any time, right? So also we started to see when Jenkins and Scolaris talk about transmedia. So they say exactly the same. When they say multilinear and multi-sequential, is that they probably then need to look for an hour or a specific day. They can use content every single time, even at home, in the subway, everywhere.
Another big name here, Lawrence Lessig, talking about remix culture and how kids, teenagers, and young people use content without copyright awareness, let's say, or a copyright approach to using content. So for these generations, copyright is kind of weird for them. What are you talking about? Why is that restricted content for me to use? What do you think about it?
Yes, they don't respect the copyright.
Yeah.
The intellectual property, what about that?
Until
they don't
the letter comes to their home. But
Exactly.
but it's a thing. It's a thing.
I know, and when they say before that the legal property, when they start to reproduce things, they don't. First of all, they don't ask for permission. They just use it, no matter what. So, where are we going with all this? I mean, it's technology helps or not? When they start to make these questions about this psychological FOMO, start to think about, the first thing is that a survey says that 50%, 56% people have a fear of missing out. I mean, they don't want to miss anything, not event, movie, shorts, or even the kind of even updates in the media or news, even news. And probably the 5 million people that we have not the 5, we have almost 9 million people on the planet, but 5 million, they do use internet. So when they start to make this Homo sapiens, it's because we're talking about the fear of missing out, or fears of missing audience. So audience means for prosumers, audience means for the media. Why we think about missing out? Are we really interested to be all the time, to be like connected 24 hours a day, 24/7?
And the challenge to be relevant doing so, because
There you go.
I can show you what I ate yesterday, and it's not relevant at all. You don't want to see my meals at all. And how to be relevant and that goes to professionals, students, young people, brands, government. Is a really hard thing to do when you take that into account, both FOMO and FOMA.
And I believe that when you said about the dilemma, is about this is documentary in Netflix, that a social media dilemma,
Yeah.
when it shows a role play in the family that they don't supposed to use the phone in table we have a dinner, and they put it in the glass, and one of the teenagers start to hear every single notification, get mad, and goes and start to break the box just because they really need to have that cell phone in her hand. So I don't know you, but it seems like a Black Mirror episode.
I don't know what you think, but I'm not sure how well studied is how this kind of technologies, we were talking about artificial intelligence earlier, how these kind of technologies and behaviors impact at the individual level and at the social level. It's not the same thing how creativity, behavior, FOMO, this fear of missing out, explode with this kind of technology, and what happened with at the social level. It's not the same thing. So I think there is a gap in studies regarding this. We have to do it better in that field.
That's correct. I mean, that gap is probably a challenge
Yeah.
for the future to get there. So that's why, first of all, we had this research about the brain rot. Brain rot is something happening in TikTok right now. They have the TikTok exists about compromising mental well-being. That means that if you're all the time in TikTok, they start to make some changes in the way you act. They start to make the way of thinking, the way you're speaking, even the way you're behaving. Because they have their own language. They start to make their own words. When we start to write in WhatsApp, sometimes we say easy, but not in the easy right way to write. We use easy in any way. Well, in TikTok happen the same thing. They start to make some changes, and if you're not in TikTok, or you're not belong to a group in TikTok, and they start to make some words, you don't understand a thing, because you need to be part of this. Otherwise,
We're talking about slang words, isn't it?
what?
Like with this very exclusive word from a specific group. And it's hard to tell, but I think every decade, every generation has or had its slangs word. So is this a new form slang? Is a new channel? Should we be aware of this kind of word, or is a specific group thing to
No, I think we need to be worried about it, because sometimes they use probably TikTok as source. And
So the difference is, before this group term and word were not a source for other people, and
No.
now
no,
this
they serve for the
amplification.
youngest.
Okay.
Of course, probably you and I were not going to be consume TikTok as a looking for information.
I'm young. I'm young.
No way, that's not going to happen ever.
I'm still young.
But
okay.
probably my daughter, she's 13, so what the hell. But of course, TikTok have his own audience, his own groups, and they probably use that to make some information. But we need to be worried about it, because we don't know for how long and what's going to happen in the future. Every single time that a new application or a new apps comes, they change everything. Facebook, MySpace was the first, and then came Facebook. EAO, the first, then Google, by Yahoo and Google. Snapchat calls Instagram, now TikTok. So we start to think, and wanted to see that depends on the application, they start to make the way of consumption and the way you use that social media or apps for our entertainment or our information or our education. Either way. Hold on. Oops. There you go. So Also, we start to figure out what happened when we do micro videos. We have them on impact. Seems that TikTok and Instagrams take the first place. They between those two, they have 34,000 visualizations, and followed by Facebook Reels and YouTube Shorts. Even YouTube Shorts, the more I believe that we like to see shorts all the time, even in the subway or in the bus or when you travel to your job or whatever. But they're not exactly. They can match. They use more TikTok and Instagram Reels to
Yes.
get in entertainment or information.
Those video views average are quite important. It might sound like to 8,000 is not a big
No,
figure,
8,500.
but
Not that big at all.
that's the average.
That's the average. It's an average. It's an
That's the
average.
average. So it's a big thing if any video, short form video, can tap this kind of average. It's a huge thing in order to conceive communication and how messages go around this platform.
And well, first of all, you can see that when we start to the most consume, they do confirm the first two. So seems that TikTok's even they have this 10,000 followers, and Facebook was in the third place. So even YouTube, when you thought YouTube probably was the more used platform, they're not. Even though when we use YouTube, they had 400 million views by minute. But even though,
Yes, this is short form videos statistics, isn't it?
of course it is. See,
As I work for a digital agency, and this is kind of the thing because TikTok came to change this landscape. You don't need too many followers on TikTok to have a lot of video views.
correct.
Because the difference of the algorithm, the other platform, you need to have a lot of followers or to go with the flow or a trend or a challenge or whatever. TikTok, if you have a good video and it works and the algorithm thinks it's a good one, can be viral. We launched a media TikTok account a few days ago. It has 6,000 followers, nothing at all. It's a new social media handle, but we already got 2 million video views, viral video. So the logics are too different.
Totally different. I mean, when you start to think about it, it's too different. We've looked for this one. For example, they say they've used social network by account sites. The huge account is more plus 50,000 followers. They do this more content, more visualizations, more interactions. So if you have less, probably you go like this. See, so, and also this is not only for anyone. I mean, and this is go for the students. I mean, the students really start to confirm the behavior when they use this social apps or a platform. And you were talking before about the algorithm. Remember? Well, we already know that what is I forget the word.
iOS.
No.
Shoot it in Spanish. Spanish.
No, que tampoco lo me acuerdo. Estoy buscando la palabra. ¿Cómo era? Ya me voy a ver.
Regarding these figures, let me say thing, and maybe you might remember what you were going to say.
El big data. There you go.
Big data. Okay.
In the big data, you have this machine learning.
Yeah.
Okay? And inside the machine learning, you have three algorithms: canonical, statistical, and organic. The organic works about how many ways you visualize and discharge content. The canonical, they start to work in percentage. I mean, they start how many times in percentage media you really share your content. And the statistical start to show how many people they do that. So sometimes you can use Tableau to see how it works. Yeah. But when we talk about EA, artificial intelligence, we start to talk to deep learning instead of machine learning. So inside of deep learning, we have those guys, first of all, they call neural network that they use the way and they know you better than yourself because they really have social listening. So you can talk to someone on the phone and suddenly start to appear, any subject or any item that you talk to someone. If you want to go to Bermuda suddenly, Bermuda vacations, resorts or whatever. So when we think about this, we need to think that also the algorithm works perfectly. They works all the time. And in the Social Dilemma documentary, talk about this algorithm. Every single guy from a Snapchat or other apps that they will develops, they explain how they do that. And it's a dangerous thing, I believe. So, sorry, you're going to say something?
No, no.
And also here the most, this over there, go. So this is, I go. So when with Marcela and Carla, we talk about, this is a research about the students in university in Dubai, so how they consume and what they use to study, what they use to get content. We'll start to make the first questions, first of all, the age. And we can see the 43% belong to between 17 and 20 years old, and also the 36 between 21 and 34. So we have probably 80% of the students that 17 and 24 that they really are the main subjects in our university. So, but the thing is, the 60% works, and the more something that we start to realize that the 305 students that answered these polls belongs to public relations, also to production and audiovisual realization and journalism.
Yep.
So they are connected because when you talk about communications or marketing or journalism, they are in the same practice. You can say that?
Yeah.
So also,
This is a slide I am going to challenge you.
Yeah,
Javier.
there you go.
Please present it. I'm going to challenge you.
So this one, when they start to say we connect with the internet with the most cell phones, and we saw in the first two slides that device is the primary, the cell phone is the primary device for everyone. So they confirmed this for 350 cases. It's not that big a share pools, but
We were discussing earlier with Javier about self-consciousness on what devices are we using. I guess we could all agree that we spend more time on cell phone, regardless the age we have. I'm sure that this self-awareness on how much time I'm spending on my phone is not well balanced with the computer. We are pretty aware of the time we are spending on the computer. I guess if we ask the students if they are using ChatGPT to write their essays, they are going to say not that much. So this Congress has this title, Image and Imaginaries. Sorry for the pronunciation. So these perceptions, we have to challenge this perception. I know they spend a lot of more time on their smartphone devices than a personal computer. That's a well-known data, and we must challenge in this research this kind of self awareness on how much time we spend on social media, on these devices, and whatever.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, even it says as percent, probably it's going to change.
Yeah.
Not only for the quality, quantity, but also the real market. And see it also frequently at home. Can we say that at home have to be any related with that you work sorry. There we go. My bad.
There.
See that says works 60%, and they use at home. That is also maybe not the truth. Also
Yes.
a perception.
We tend to underestimate
Estimate.
the time we spend like this commuting time,
Yes.
going walking in the streets at the university. The students are not saying that they're using or consuming digital content in classroom or in the university. That's something they are hiding, of course.
Of
But
course.
on transport, on their work, at home, of course. But we tend to underestimate the time we spend on social media, on OTT platform, in these commuting moments, no,
That's
with
right.
friends at night.
24 hours, you know. And also we started to say how much time they spend surfing the internet. And look this, and 46% belongs to 4 and 6 hours. So they probably confirm that all the time they really spend. And you told me before that maybe they spend more time the numbers that we saw here.
Again, self-awareness, self-consciousness in this. If have you ever tried to track your time on your cell phones? Does the device give you a bad news about that time spent, like 3, 4, 6, 8 hours on your device phone? If I ask you, if you're not tracking your activity on your device, if I ask you, you would say that you spend less time than that. But the truth is the true facts. And in this kind of research, in this kind of survey, we should contrast that perception with the tracking tools.
Well, there is a hot suite survey that is say that the girls between 15 and 19 spend 9 hours a year. Of course, that's in a percentage. It's not 9 hours. I'm probably going to take 9 hours a day, you know? But even though they explain that when we start to make this around the world, that was the data worldwide, they need to have at least some number of percentages to explain why they spend so much time in the apps. And the guys like to spend more time in Instagram than in TikTok. TikTok obviously goes to between 11 years old to 15 years old. Here we have the most frequently, like the network Wi-Fi. Well, of course, Wi-Fi works because Wi-Fi is everywhere. But also, we try to see where they obtain information. Again, apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, news portals. After what, 9? It's too much. A podcast is probably, they start to replace the radio or newsletter, TV or cable TV, even newspapers. And they are probably the only source they like to check instead of the real one.
I was surprised by Twitter. That's I think it's pretty high in this target. In this case, still.
I mean, it's no surprise there. But also, but let's see, when they try to prefer contact, they use again platforms with Facebooks and X, and last probably 60% media, newspapers, and then probably influencers are probably public leaders' opinion instead of the real ones. That probably they have more thing to say than the real journalist. But well, it's the way we start to understand the way they think. When they say how to participate in social media, well, we find out that sometimes they're not participating that much. It's like they say before, not every single student is a prosumer. Not every single student like to participate. Maybe in Gran Hermano, they like to put on Twitter who
Brother.
gets in and who's get out. But after that, they're not really participating there, even in the hashtags. They say